This last year for me has been absolutely horrible. I am an entrepreneur and I have been extremely just living in actual poverty. And, you know, I've gotten through that. I lost my dog, my puppy, my baby in August. And, after a really expensive surgery, and I was gonna have to leave everything and move home to Harrisburg with my dad, but I just couldn't do it. And the last minute I figured it out and I was able to stay, and I figured it out in September, but the cycles, they keep happening. And, you know, I've been struggling again, and I was banking on a huge deal that I worked so hard on. A big real estate deal that yesterday the girl backed out. We were supposed to close tomorrow. And then yesterday my car battery dies. Mind you, I have $0. I can't afford to eat, literally nothing. I have $0. And my car battery died, but I was able to fix it. But then I come out this morning and I have a boot on my car, and it's the same thing that happened in July. And it's just like God continuously is just kicking me when I'm down. And it's this cycle that just keeps happening. And nobody, like the people in my life, just the person in my life is just horrible.
Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. And I know we live in an age today where we want to go out there and we want to make it on our own. I absolutely agree that everyone should strive to be their own boss. In this economy, because of uncertainty in a lot of industries, especially in the real estate market, there's no guarantees. And you have to know when deciding to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have good days and you're absolutely going to have bad days. I work in an industry where people try to go full time. And I was full time when I worked at full time in the insurance industry when I started. And I quickly found out that if you don't have at least 3 to 6 months of money set aside, you don't need to be an entrepreneur. Doesn't mean that you stop doing whatever it is you're deciding to do, but you can't wait for a deal to get done and then expect for your rent or your mortgage or your light bill or your car note or your insurance or your medical or anything else that runs on a 30-day cycle to wait for that deal to get paid. That just doesn't add up. And you have to be a little courageous. You have to be a little courageous to want to be an entrepreneur, to want to go out there and help people. I mean, it's honestly the best thing going. And even in the job market, which we know most people today aren't really safe, even in the job market, if you have that entrepreneurial spirit, like it is pulling at you. And then when we get into it, we're excited. You've closed a couple deals, you made some money, but you rarely are putting that money away for a rainy day because, like all of us, you're playing catch up. And as an entrepreneur, you know that, or any business, you have 3 to 5 years, right? You have a 3 to 5 year cycle that you're going to either do well or you're not. Most businesses fail in the first 5 years. I feel for this young lady because I know, like looking at her video, like she really loves what she does. She's really poured her heart into her business. But the one thing you can't control is how other people, especially when sounds like she had another person involved, how other people do your business. That's why when I do business, especially when it's something that when it comes to clients, I try to take out as many middlemen as possible. Anytime I've done a real estate deal or maybe I partnered with a few people on insurance policies or whatever, anytime I felt like it was too many people in a room, they always went sideways all the time because there's just too many variables that you can't control. And when you give somebody else that task, right? And also they're not getting paid by the hour. So you're not guaranteed they're doing the work, or they make the phone call, or they send the email, or whatever it is that they have to do. So for some reason you just lose control. And it sounds like she lost control, right, of a particular part. It could have been a simple phone call or email or showing up to a meeting. I don't know, right? But you have to as an entrepreneur, you have to take away the middleman or be the middleman, right? But we call it a daisy chain. Like in real estate deals, you see a lot of people who, I found the deal, and then this is the wholesaler, and that friend, because you knew the wholesaler through with somebody else, and then they want to. It's like a daisy chain, and the longer it gets, the more people become affected, and the more the deal just doesn't go through. But that's not what this is about. This is really about the heart of being an entrepreneur and what it takes. And yes, there's absolutely going to be a time where you're going to want to go out there, you're going to want to give it your all, and you're going to have a bad day. And I think having bad days is what being an entrepreneur is about, because once you've had a bad day, you're learning. You're learning from that mistake, right? You're saying to yourself, you know what? I can't work with this person, or I need to make sure I control more of the process.
And I just can't do it anymore. And I'm making this video because I literally have nothing left to fucking lose. And I don't have anybody to talk to. And I'm at my wit's end. Like, I don't know how I can keep going. And I just pray that I can look back at this one day and just like, I hope I have the strength.
I don't know this young lady, but I would tell you, if I was to be able to respond to this, to keep going. Because this right now, for you and for a lot of people who are entrepreneurs in this very moment, in this economic times, are going through the exact same thing. And the worst thing that you can do is give up, right? If we treat this as an end all be all moment in our life, then you've lost. You've given up. You've allowed yourself to become really become an enemy of yourself. God, I hope that makes sense, right? But don't give up. Use this as a way to gain more motivation and to make your process of whatever. It's like, look, I would go back to this deal and I would say to myself, what did I do wrong? There's so many deals that I've done or tried to do, especially the bigger deals, right? The ones that you're going to, it's going to pay for your expenses for the next 4 or 5 months. Like those are the deals that we want. And they come so few far in between. When you get them, you're like, oh my God, I'm banking on this, right? And typically what I find is when we put a lot of energy into these big deals, we let the little smaller deals go by because we know that this big deal, I know in real estate, because, average real estate agent, I could be wrong. Somebody definitely correct me if I'm wrong. They're probably closing 3 to 4 deals a year, right? And those 3 to 4 deals, they mean everything, right? Especially if you're full time, right? And as you get better, right, those deals will get easier. You won't look at them as a end all be all kind of, I have to do it today, circumstance. It'll just be another part of the game. But why I like this video and why I wanted to share it with the audience is this. I think as we get into the upcoming year, 2026, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for everyone, all of us, to figure out how we can serve. Right? Some of you are artists, and some of you are mechanics, and some of you are singers, and whatever it is, I don't care. Right? But this is the time to take a chance, because if you don't do it now, when are you ever going to get it done? When are you ever going to make it happen for yourself? But just know that when you begin something, the worst thing that you can do is give up. That's the worst thing that we can do, because then we've lost. Right? So I would tell this young lady to say, hey, like, keep your chin up. Yeah, you got hit with a right hand. Say came back with the left, but get back up off the ground and figure out how to do it again. I think this is just a moment, but a lot of people are going through the same thing. I know when I started this YouTube channel, I was in a very interesting place. My business had slowed down. A lot of my team members had left. You know, I was thinking to myself, like, is this for me? I've been in this industry now for 10 years, but I've never started a platform like this. Right? I remember doing my first videos and barely anybody watched them, and we're still growing. I know that. All 22 subscribers right now. I'm proud of y'all. Thank you. If you were subscribed to this channel, thank you. But I can't wait to the day where I know there's going to be 1 million people watching this show, this content. And if I ever stop, then shame on me, because there's so many people out there who need this information. And if you're an entrepreneur, there's so many people out there that need your help. With that being said, y'all, my name is Aquil. This is Saving America's Money. Be strong, be safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.